German Chancellor Angela Merkel is facing a historic challenge. Following Sunday's parliamentary elections, the government could see a three-party coalition for the first time. It would be made up of Merkel's CDU-CSU alliance, the pro-business Free Democrats, and the environmentalist Green Party. But they don't always agree on topics such as the euro, energy and industrial policies. And to make matters more complicated, the far-right Alternative for Germany has won 13% of the vote to become the first right-wing party to enter parliament in more than half a century. These factors have caused uncertainty among investors, but reactions from the big markets have been subdued.
Today, the markets and, of course, the DAX are looking at the federal elections. A result that was pretty much expected, 6 parties in parliament. But there is one constant, and she is called Mrs. Angela Merkel. She stays on as Chancellor, and that can calm the markets to some extent.
The election result has sparked fears of a more hardline stance towards the Eurozone. The euro slipped by 0.5% to $1.19, but remains more than 13% higher against the dollar this year. Over the years, Germany's economy has grown near capacity, with unemployment at a record low. But in the face of Sunday's vote, leading industry associations are urging for a quick start of coalition negotiations to avert damage to the country's business environment.
We
will start discussions both with the FDP and the Greens, but let me add, also with the SPD, because I believe it's important that Germany gets a stable, good government.
As each party comes with its own conditions to the negotiation table, this may be easier said than done. The SPD wants equal pay for men and women and free education. And the Greens' priority is climate protection.
It's very important, even though it will be difficult, that the new government can create an economic vision with jobs and social security. Enough vision that the electorate goes back to voting for the established parties in 4 years, so that the good old German democracy is preserved.
But with German democracy being rattled by rising right-wing populism, markets now hope that Angela Merkel will build a coalition that retains stability. Adefemi Akinsanya, TRT World.
So let's go to Berlin now, and Francis Collings is there for us. Francis, what have people been saying, ordinary people been saying, about the economic effects of this election, and also what effect is it having on small businesses?
Well, effectively, as you were just reporting, Azar, there is a lot of dependence on Angela Merkel. She's been there since 2005. The economy has grown, as we keep saying, and unemployment has gone down. But until the nature of the coalition is established, and we did mention the Free Democrats, who came in with a good 10% of the vote, they could be the kingmakers again. Until that's established and a party like them joins up with Angela Merkel, and they are very pro-business, there is an air of uncertainty. People expect it to be much as it is, but it does depend on who is sitting alongside Angela Merkel in that coalition government.
Francis, as we know, the German economy has been doing really well in recent years. Unemployment near record lows. So, apart from immigration, what were some of the economic reasons for the weak performance of the CDU?
Well, effectively, it does come down to geography. If you draw up a map of where the votes were counted, there was a vast swathe of votes in the former eastern communist part of the country. These are the areas that are more depressed. They are the ones that listen to some of the rhetoric from the AfD, the far right. Rhetoric not dissimilar to Brexit. We want our country back. Also wanting to lock Angela Merkel up at one stage. That was where the main body of the votes came from, because although there is economic growth, as we've been saying, there's also economic inequality. It's not been spread evenly across Germany. In the east, there's a lot of concerns, some disquiet, and they repaid their concerns by voting primarily for the AfD and not for Angela Merkel's Christian Democrats.
Francis Collings in Berlin, thank you ever so much. Let's get a broader perspective now and go to Paris, and our editor-at-large, Craig Copetas, joins us now from there. Craig, now, many are concluding that this election result will, of course, push Germany's government further to the right. What will this mean for Germany's role in especially stimulating the economies of the periphery of Europe?
It's going to harm them because the disenfranchised of the East want the money. They don't want to see that money going to Greece. They don't want to see it going to Spain. They don't want to see it going to pay off debts. And you can't forget here that this is the first time since World War II we have a racist party in the center of German politics. That's pretty chilling. Alex Garland, who is one of the AfD's main politicians, said last night after the results were counted, quote, "We're going to hunt them down. We're going to hunt Frau Merkel." As for who them are, well, that's the acceptable face of xenophobia now. They're talking about, and this has been in the German press said by members of the AfD party, that they want the border police to be allowed to start shooting Muslim immigrants who come across the border. Now, the West, the rest of the European Union coalition is not going to like the sound of those words, and it's going to hit hardest down in Greece.
And how are investors taking all of this?
Well, I think they are going to wait. I think they're also waiting to see what happens in Austria in a few weeks when they have their elections and their Freedom Party, their right-wing party, looks to take seats. Remember, the Dutch sent the right wing for a ride. The French pretty much, eviscerated Marine Le Pen. It's only in these Germanic-speaking countries where the right wing seems to get a foothold. And you're already hearing vibrations out of Greece, as are, the Syriza party down there. They have for years and years been saying that the Germans owe them reparations to the tune of $162 billion for World War II. I think if Merkel and her people start to be tougher on the Greeks, that you're going to hear those calls again from Greece.
Craig Copetas in Paris, thank you ever so much.